What's the reason for you coming from the UK here? Was it to plant the flood movement?
No, not at all. Um, one of my friends was already living over here, and I was heavily involved in the rave scene in the UK, and I just needed to get out. So I cried out to God. I was like, "You got to get me out of here now!" And I landed in New Zealand, and I've been on a journey with him ever since.
Wow, packed up the glow sticks and headed south, down under.
No.
And so I heard you had a bit of a I don't know, your faith kind of got reignited through a bit of that journey, and then what, the flood movement is kind of born out of that?
Yeah, I just gave my life back to God, and then went to Annesbrook Leadership College and just journeyed with Jesus. And then one day I was had this vision of like stadiums full with people worshiping him, and then that's how the flood movement got birthed. I spoke to my mate Daz Shadow, and I was like, bro, I really want to do a stadium. And he was like, I'm all in. And I was like, cool. And then, yeah, it was just a journey, really. I was like, we're going to do stadiums. And then God was like, there's actually a full middle part of this. So our ministry actually started to get birthed out of it.
Why the name The Flood movement?
Well, I don't know. That's what God called it. But then, no, it's pretty cool. Like, we just want to see a flood of his presence, and a flood of his power. And that's what we see when we put on the events. We just see God move mightily amongst his people and just flood his people with his love. So it's been really cool.
Well, do you think we need it at this time? Do you think we need it here in New Zealand?
Well, if you look at the suicide youth stats, then they're through the roof. And that's kind of your answer right there.
Nice. Yeah, we got some pretty terrible stats around a few things in New Zealand. So you guys are Nelson based. Tell us about some of the community initiatives. I know you're involved in a few sort of different things. What the flood movement kind of does in Nelson. But give us an insight into that.
Yeah. Okay. So we've done a few projects. Like, we did Victory Christmas, and we just called ministries and churches together, and we just put this massive Christmas thing on in the park, and people could come and get prophetic word. They could come and get a healing. They heard awesome worship tunes. We had rappers. So we've done stuff like that. We fed them, just lots of really cool community free stuff. And then we've also done coats for kids. So we rallied a few churches together in the warehouse, woohoo! And then got everyone on board. And then schools and kindies could order free coats for kids that needed them. And so we were able to get hundreds of coats and just bless this region all the way over to Golden Bay.
Man, you had me at free food. As soon as you said free food, I'm in. Well, you know, the thing that we love asking creative people and musicians and people who are putting on events like this, Hannah, is the impact that it has on the people who attend. Have you had any response, and what's the response been? Maybe even personal testimonies from people that you can share with us of a recent event that you just had?
Yeah, I think when you get to see a life fully transformed, so for me, we took this guy on tour with us last minute, and he just got completely rocked by God. And then when you're praying for youth and you just see them they've never encountered the presence of God, and you're like, oh, do you want to feel the Holy Spirit? And then you pray for them, and the whole face and the whole being lights up. That marks someone for life. And when we've done community events, because we're doing free events, we get good stories coming in. So it's been pretty epic.
You sound like a person where that payoff in itself is just reason enough to do this.
Yeah, 100%. That's what literally it's about. When you see lives transformed by Jesus, that is where it's at. When you see a community touched, when you see people come along that would never ever turn up at an event like that, and then they get blasted by the love of God, come on.
You haven't left all your rave
energy behind.
Yeah.
I love it. If you want to find out more, you can go to thefloodmovement.com and you'll find all the details there. You guys have been doing your flood tour just through the early parts of June. How's that been for you guys?
It was amazing. It's the first time we've ever done anything like that. We had over 22 on team, and we just became this beautiful family. and we had all ages. We had like people in their 70s to people in their 20s, and we just went and blessed like people in regions. It was wild.
Yeah, that's cool.
So good, man.
Okay, well, looking forward though, so you've got, I mean, this stadium, would this be your first stadium kind of?
Second.
So this is coming up in August, around the 13th to the 16th. Tell us about this Flood Stadium event that's going on, and where is it, and how can people sort of find out more, be involved with it? What's it going to look like?
Yeah, cool. So on the 12th of August, we've got a training night. So we've got Jackie Ford coming over from Christ for All Nations from Australia. That's going to be wild. We're going to worship together and then get trained up. So it's going to be cool. And then on the 13th to the 15th of August, we're going to be hitting the streets. So we'll be going over to Takaka, Blenheim, Nelson, Richmond, Stoke. Yeah, all the places, and just seeing people healed on the streets and hear about Jesus. And then that leads us into the stadium on the 15th and 16th of August. And it's going to be at Trafalgar Centre Indoor Stadium. And last year we saw over 60 people give their lives to the Lord, people get healed, set free, beautiful worship. And we're going to go again, and we believe that God's going to move even more. So that's us for this year. It's going to be
well done.